We are back at Autopolis International Racing Course in Japan, and we are trying again to do a European make race, but we got another Japanese car in the grid. Actually, two. So now I'm in pole position. Second is JM. Third would be Pat in the Porsche European car. JM is driving a Japanese Miata. In fourth place would be Jovi in the BMW, and fifth is now Kevin in a Supra, so another Japanese car. JM gets a really bad start in the Miata, and everybody leaves him in the dust. Pat has a great start and is so far leading the pack. I try to get inside the inside lane of Pat and get ahead, but Pat defends, goes sideways on the dirt, loses it, and from first Pat is now fourth, it seems, and I get lucky and go in front. So it's me and the BMW. Jovi now got the memo, is also driving the BMW and has overshot that corner completely. And it is Kevin has chosen to dispose of his TT and now is driving a brand new Supra. And he is quick in that Supra. New technology. Oh, Supra, BMW in front. I'm sure you guys know what I'm thinking about this one. So it's a BMW versus a BMW, or Supra versus Supra in front. But I'm driving an old BMW, so it doesn't count. The Supra Kevin does a great overtake and takes advantage and overtakes me, and is now leading the race. Coming into a hairpin, I'm trying to catch him, but Kevin is driving very well, and I'm not driving as well as he is. So it seems like he's pulling a gap. And behind me is Pat in that rusty looking Porsche. Of course, it's a game, so there's no such thing as a rusty car here. But some guys have made made the livery to make it look like it kind of burned up and is full of rust. Must have spent a lot of time on this. Either way, I think it looks pretty cool. And Pat is once again sliding all around. And there's JM. He is dispatched of his BMW. Oh, and Jovi is doing donuts on the grass. He is back and is. I think maybe he should have gotten a Subaru, so he'd be at home in the dirt. But anyway, Pat is going a bit sideways with a 0.4 second penalty, but maybe from cutting the track a bit. I'm still second place, chasing Kevin in his Supra. Kevin now has left me behind. Man, look at that gap. So he seems to be doing much better in the Supra than he was doing in his TT earlier. So in the previous race we had. So good job on Kevin. It's kind of unfair because he has the newest car in this race, and we should be racing European cars. But just because this Supra shares a BMW engine doesn't make it a European car. But well, maybe he found a loophole, and let's let it slide. Kevin is not sliding much, and he is leaving everybody behind, literally making us eat his dirt, because you saw him overshoot a bit and kicks up dirt, and if I had my windows open behind him, I'd probably be eating that dirt he just kicked up. Man, look at the gap is just getting bigger and bigger. Kevin's on a roll here. He is feeling it. He is quick. He is fast. We can't touch him here. So I guess Kevin appreciates driving the Supra more than he appreciated his TT when he was driving that. So, good job on the change of car, Kevin. No, so far I'm doing pretty well compared to my last race here in Autopolis, because I was on the dirt and I was from first to last. Now I'm holding pretty well and pretty stable in second. Pat comes in, sliding into and now I think JM also lost it in the previous race with the BMW in that same corner, but at least now he's doing it in style in a Miata with his top down. Jovi so far his car is pretty clean. As you saw earlier, he had a little picnic in the dirt or in the grass, and now he's trying his best to keep it clean and catch up to the guys in front. Good luck, Jovi. Keep it clean. And it looks like from this point of view, I don't think he's fixed the suspension for his car yet, so he might be having a hard time driving that. Same with JM. So that Though it's not supposed to be in this group because we're supposed to have a European themed race. That oh, he's on the dirt. I think he's overdriving that car a bit, and he's doing his best to try to catch up. And sometimes when you try to force more speed out of your car instead of driving it smoothly, you like earlier as you saw Jim, he's making more mistakes, and that's just putting him more and more in the back of the pack. Pat is on the edge, kicking about a little bit of dirt in third place with this Porsche. I think it's a 1981 Porsche 911 Turbo. I love that car. It's another one. I consider that as one of my favorite cars I've ever seen so far. Best cars ever made. Well, as far as they look, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But personally, I love that Porsche, and I also really like this BMW. Two cars I'd love to have. Kevin now is still, well, now he's being boring in front because he's driving really well. He's driving quickly. He's not making any errors, and he's leaving everybody behind. So Kevin is showing a dominant performance here in the Supra. He's making it boring. No one's catching him, no one's close to him. Come on, man, make a mistake so we can catch up to you and maybe we can have some, dice a little bit and compete. But, well, if you're in front, there's no reason why you should wait in the back unless you're super bored. Which I've done that once. Pat's done that once. Only in the game though. If this was real racing and I had a lead that big, I would not wait for my opponents. I'd just find the smoothest way around the track and make no mistakes and take the win home as easy, as slow as I can without damaging the car as much as I can. So I'm doing pretty well here, but I'm not as boring as Kevin because I'm still a little shaky. Kevin is driving much smoother than I am, and man, I think he's built the gap almost to be half of the main straight. And that's quick. Considering I haven't gone on the dirt yet, that's pretty quick. And the Porsche is great, but I think that it's too old to match up with the E46 M3. I've driven that Porsche in the game too. It's pretty twitchy, but I still love that car. And there's Jovi. He is sliding into the corners. This race is pretty. I think so far it's pretty settled because everybody's pretty far from each other. Oh, I spoke too soon about being settled because Jovi spins it and bends it into the gravel and catches the wall. And here comes JM. JM overtakes Jovi but gets a little rattled trying to avoid him. But now JM, who's also been in the dirt, is now in second place. Ooh, he's twitching. If he makes a mistake, Jovi's going to take advantage and overtake him again. And he's a little excited and he's on the dirt and spins it once, twice. And Jovi takes advantage of it. Alright, that was so far the most exciting part of the race. Jovi spun it. JM caught him, and in the final corner before the main straight, JM spun it and almost hit Jovi, but they didn't touch there. They didn't touch. And now Jovi is up again in fourth place. Now looking at Pat up in front in his Porsche, and he's starting to play around. As you can see, it looked like he locked the rear brakes and pulled the handbrake and started to drift on purpose. So since Pat has no one to race with, he's getting bored and just playing around. And here's Kevin. I think he's a little bored because he's also sliding the tail around a little bit, but not risking it enough to make a mistake for me to catch him. I think Kevin knows if he makes a big mistake here, I'm going to overtake him, so he's not screwing around. And race over. Kevin takes an easy win in the Supra. And pretty far behind him is me in my BMW, and I get to finish in second place. Flashing the lights for the camera. Hello. And now it's Pat in his Porsche sliding into the final sequence of corners and keeping it sideways, so he's doing that on purpose, making his final corners look pretty. And there he goes, sliding around in third place, and spins it, and that's on purpose.